Welcome to another episode of Core Discussions. My name's Legacy.
And I'm Max.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Jim.
And Hunter.
All right, and if D3, if you can do me the honors.
Yes, I'll gladly.
Stop. No.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
And to you. So if you can't tell by that intro and by the hockey mask, we are doing another Halloween specials for our Core Top 10 show. This one is worst horror movies. We broke it down to horror as in like scary movies, and for worst movies, we did movies that were actually trying to be good, and it had to be theatrical films or more like budget films.
And we didn't pick like a lot of obvious choices like Troll 2 because one, Troll 2 is awesome, and we don't want to regurgitate the same lists that you see online.
So gentlemen, are you ready?
Yes.
You aren't going to keep on the Jason mask?
Well, I feel like when I talk, it's going to muffle my thing on the recording.
Yeah, probably would have. We had a total of 25 movies be voted for. As you all know, I am not a horror aficionado or horror watcher like these guys. So to not sully this list, and because we take this stuff seriously here at Core Discussions,
Yep.
I did not participate like usual, but I did do the calculations and do all the tallies. So we're going to come in. There was 11 movies that did make the list. There was a tie, obviously, at 10th place. And so we're going to start right there. We're going to start off with was voted on by two people, D3 and The Mountain, coming in at 10th place with 7 points. It is a remake of a known franchise. It is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022.
Jacob Max. The movie was trash.
2022?
There are a lot of trash movies, you know.
Yeah, first of all, that's not even the worst Texas Chainsaw movie.
No, it really
Well,
isn't.
I just had a lot of issues with him being like an 80-year-old man
No,
and
I had a
committing
lot
all
of
these
issues.
murders and doing all this
If
stuff.
it was the top 20,
Yeah.
it probably would have squeaked in.
I'm saying that cannot be the original Chainsaw from the 70s.
One of the other sins is that they brought back the girl who survived in the first one. I know it's a different actress, but they brought back that character and totally wasted.
No, it's truly awful.
And then the bus.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, people on that bus should have survived. He cannot kill all y'all at the same time. Some of y'all could get around him, get off the bus, and make a run for it.
And he's also like 80 years
And I'm
old.
like, guys, y'all could just dogpile him. There will be some casualties, unfortunately, but you could dogpile him.
Better than all of us.
Felt like they didn't. They barely tried to connect it to the original.
So I had issues with like this is common in like horror movies and just movies in general. People don't act like real human beings. Well, remember that one girl like saw the guy? It was the guy, right? That got like he was like
He got,
bloody
like,
or
that.
whatever, and she just goes to the bus and sits down and doesn't mention it to anybody.
Correct.
And then it's just stuff like that.
And then one of the kids had like a school shooting, like subplot to them. Like, what was the point of that?
Yeah, that didn't really like go anywhere.
Yeah, well, a lot of the stuff they talked about didn't go anywhere.
And then,
Yeah.
guys, we got to mention the chainsaw uppercut.
Yeah, I mean that was hilarious, but
You putting that as a down?
I did find the movie. Well, I did find the movie more funny than scary or like enjoyable.
Oh, there was
like,
no
it was
suspense
fun.
at all.
It was funny for like the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And then let's not talk about the spot near the end where Bubba comes out of the water like a freaking dolphin, and
It was
like,
amazing how little they
tries
tried
to kill
in
them.
this movie.
It's like this 80-year-old man is going to spring to leap out of the water like a dolphin and sent to attack these people. It was I couldn't believe that, dude. I could not believe that happened.
And then the ending irritated me as well. I was like, you just went through all that and you just could put the car in.
Oh, I know.
No, you hauling ass out of there.
Oh, I know. Again, they didn't act
Didn't
like
his
real
sister's
people.
head get chopped off at the end or cut off?
He did. Yep.
I will give one positive. It was the first kill in the movie was pretty nice.
The first kill was cool. The
Which
first
one
kill
was
was
that?
cool. I will give him
Refresh my
that.
memory.
The bone.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, that was
The
awful.
beef.
Awesome.
He broke the guy's wrist and stabbed him with it. Like that's pretty cool.
And
Because I had high expectations after that.
Another issue I had is like this all could be itself. They just took 5 minutes to look for this woman's paperwork. They said, but no,
Yeah.
they're not rational.
Just so much of this movie would have been better for me again if they had de-aged him maybe 30 years.
Another thing I hated, I didn't like the look of Leatherface either.
It was not a good look.
I agree.
That might be the worst one for me.
There's nothing. I can't really find many good things about it.
There were good kills. That was the only redeeming part.
And again, my biggest gripe with horror movies is how many times you gonna put down the weapon just for the killer to pick it back up. As a horror writer, you gotta find a better way for the person to lose the weapon and the killer to get it back. You gotta find a better way than someone dropping it.
But how about he just take it from them?
Yeah.
It's a choice. That's a
This is
choice.
right with horror movies in general. I was like, no, if I had like Jason machete, if I got his machete, I'm not dropping the machete. I'm keeping it with me.
Oh hell no, yeah.
All right. I think we got y'all didn't like that movie. We can take away from that.
Buffalo, I didn't like any of these movies on my list.
Yeah.
I think we got it,
got
but
some
we're gonna
strong
keep
opinions.
going. We're going to our next one. It was voted on by one person, tied at 10th place. A review for it says it's disappointing to stop rooting for a blockbuster behemoth horror series, but these movies' quality and talent tight hold has rapidly deflated over time. It is Vitamin J. Number 4, coming in with a 55% Rotten Tomato score and an 83% audience score.
It shouldn't be anywhere
It
near
is
that high.
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Oh yeah, you did. hate that
come
one.
on.
Conjuring
Come
3,
on.
dude, that was so
You
pissed.
did
like,
hate it. With
Also directed by Michael Chaves, in
Yeah.
case I haven't said that.
The worst
So
director in
that
all of
also
Hollywood.
explains it.
I'm going to justify why I ranked it so high. The expectations for this were, to me, really high because 1 and 2 were quite good. And then you get this, and just nothing but horror cliches over and over again. The jump scares were terrible. The stupid demonic voice.
It did stray too far from the other two films.
It just went in like, okay, yeah, this is like paranormal stuff to now. It just seems like they're veering in a whole new area.
It almost didn't feel like a Conjuring movie.
That's what-
to me.
yeah,
felt
it
like
didn't
a
feel like
clear,
it.
Yeah, it felt like a clear step down from the other ones. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it was disappointing for sure.
Don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie.
You forgot the Conjuring 3 also had the trope of where in the end love wins.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, it's
This is so
getting.
many
I'm getting a little old to
cliches,
that.
That was so weird to me.
Yeah, that works in like fairy tale, Disney.
It has to fit the plot.
That just sounds weird. Love, like, that's not really what.
Yeah, I mean, literally, that's how they beat the thing near the end. I forget exactly what the reasoning was.
There was only one good scene. And that was that with the one with that fat dude.
Yeah, in the morgue.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was good. But
I agree.
before and after, dude, it was bad.
All right. We're going to go into our next one. It was also only voted on by one person. Coming in 9th place with 8 points. This had a 47% on tomato meter score, 49% audience score. One of the reviews did say this movie is a teen horror for dummies, showing how much they disliked it. This is coming from a very popular series and at the time had a pretty solid name from the 90s. It came out in 1998. It is The Bride of Chucky. It was voted on solely by Max.
Y'all seriously didn't put Bride of Chucky on there?
Oh, I don't even know if Bride of Chucky's the worst Chucky movie.
No, dude,
See the
no,
Chucky. See the
well,
Chucky might be worse.
Seed of Chucky's bad, but Bride of Chucky. Okay, Jacob. Let me tell you this: did I need to have a sex scene with 2 dolls?
You didn't, but you got one.
Well,
You sure got it, buddy.
No, but I can see why you think this is bad. Just because, like, Girl from Child's Play, The Bride, you know, it's just, I don't know. It just went in full campy comedy horror that was, you know, popular at the time.
I mean, I think it might have had. Was this the one where John Ritter had a cameo? I think he was in this one as a cop or something like that. But
I don't think I've seen Bride of Chucky all the way.
Katherine Heigl's in it.
Yep, that's the
Oh,
other person.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's not that horrible.
Yeah, Arquette gets killed like near the beginning. I mean, the doll sex scene was really a huge reason why I did it. Also,
that's
just the
the reason why.
quality. It was almost like a cartoon compared to the original Child's Play and Chucky series. So
It scared the pants off me as a kid.
I was never really scared of Chucky.
No, terrifying. I was scared of Leprechaun, too.
Leprechaun scared me more. Look, that Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie is better than Bride of Chucky.
I had to disagree.
This next movie, we had a tie for our 7th place movie. I'm coming in with 10 points. This movie was voted on by 2 people. It was voted on by Vitamin J and D3. This movie has an 18% score on Rotten Tomatoes
Damn.
and a 22 audience score. One of the critics did say, so it was panned by both audience and critics, maybe all will be explained in the sequel. If so, your writer is happy to remain uneducated. It's another kind of more recent movie. Came out in 2017. It is The Bye Bye Man.
Max, I'm surprised you
shocked
didn't
you
put
haven't
Bye Bye
seen this
Man
one.
on there, Max.
I forgot about that one too.
Wow. Dude, Batman is truly terrible.
It tries so
I've
hard.
not had the
It tries
pleasure.
so hard to be a franchise.
It is so. You gotta watch it. It does everything wrong about the horror
Look,
movie.
the
It's
concept
supposed to
is
do.
once the Batman appears in your head or whatever, you don't say it and you don't think it. That's pretty much all.
Don't say it, don't think it. Don't say it, don't think it. But then if you're thinking about not thinking about something, you know what you're not supposed to be thinking about. So therefore you're thinking
paradox.
about it.
Yeah,
So he wins.
Man killing his family.
Because the Bye-Bye Man.
Again, it's just another one that relies on all the cliches.
The main actor in this movie has been in 2 dog shit horror movies.
Yes. The Batman itself is, I think, terribly designed. He has some dog. None of it makes sense.
He's got like long fingers.
So it's just they put absolutely no thought in this movie.
They're trying to make a quick buck. They're trying to make a franchise is what they're trying
I
to
hope
do.
this didn't make money.
And I didn't like the end of it. Try like set up a sequel because the guy tells the cop that the Bye Man.
Right, and they find that drawer or whatever that the
Yeah.
tossed.
It made pretty much 30 million at the
Franchise.
box office. It made money. Unfortunately, it made money.
And then there's like, okay, so then you really don't even learn anything about Batman. There's like zero, almost no lore.
It's like half the movie's just hallucination, like type, and so many bad jump scares.
Yeah, it's
and
so
all that.
bad that like I was laughing watching it. You know, if you have a stomach for bad horror movies like we do, then I would easily recommend Batman.
And though I can point out some good things about the movie, I can't think of a single good thing
There's
about this film.
nothing good.
Even the name, the Bye Bye Man, like that's such a dumb name.
I wasted an hour and a half of my life. I'm never gonna get that back.
Won't be the last time.
Next movie also tied 7th place, came in with 10 points. This movie had a tomato meter score of 1%,
Yeah, but
audience score of 11%.
that's a little high too, honestly.
One of the reviews says it's just the most inept filmmaking you can catch in theaters right now, or probably all year long. It is the 2005 movie starring Christian Slater, Alone in the Dark.
Dude, this movie is so boring.
It's probably the most boring movie I've ever seen.
It is only an hour and a half, but I swear to God, when I finished watching it, I thought 2 hours had gone by easy.
I just looked up the budget. How much money do you think? What was the budget for that? Do you think?
Dude,
Oh,
probably
God.
100K tops.
It's probably 10 million.
It's $20 million.
Are you
$20
kidding
million
me?
budget?
Wow. It's funny you mentioned that, Max, because there's a scene in that movie, I think it's near the end, where there's a SWAT team or some shit, and it's so obvious they're wearing paintball gear.
Dude,
It's
yeah,
so
it's
obvious.
so obvious. I completely forgot about that.
I think there was a scene in the movie where they're shooting at one of the monsters, but where the gun was pointed at, you can clearly
Yeah,
tell
so-
it was not going to hit the target.
Yeah, well, when they shoot and like when the bullets come out is also like really bad. Like, everything's wrong with this movie.
Well, and then it's nothing like the game at all. It's I mean,
Nothing like the
it's
game.
like the game. It has the name of the game, and that is it.
Remember, like, okay, I can't remember if it was at some point. I can't remember Christian Slater, but some other character isn't supposed to be outside during the day, and at the very end, he is out in the
Yeah.
day just fine.
Well, the
Nothing is
movie
fun.
made absolutely no sense. There's so many parts in that movie that I'm like, what is going on? But they just jump scene to
Like,
it's,
there's no cohesion at all.
yeah,
Was this Super Bowl?
it's so bad.
Yeah, everybody
Yes,
ball,
of
like,
course it was your ball.
He has to. It has to been like he had to have chopped this the hell in the editing room. And so maybe he tried to
The
make like a
only-
3-hour epic and he just chopped it to shit. But nothing would make this good.
The only thing I can think about U-Bowl's movies, the only excuse he gets for getting decently budgeted horror movie, it's gotta be money laundering, right?
Is he still directing?
He's talking on that.
But he's gotta be cleaning someone's money with these movies, right? That's all it is. Some drug cartels. There's no way he's just throwing shit together. I mean, I don't know. I think honestly, any of us can make a better movie.
If I had $20 million, I bet I could.
He's never directed a good movie. Right?
No, of course
His
not.
highest one looks to be 6.2 on IMDb. 6.2. He also did House of the Dead, so yeah, video and Blood Rain. So video game horror movies, he loved
Oh, yeah,
to
no, he
do,
loves
and
that
they're
shit.
all bad.
All right, we're going to go into our next movie. Came in with 13 points, coming in at 6th spot. This movie is neither as skillful or scary as the original, and it's a cheap knockoff and inferior in every single way. Speaking of bad Rotten Tomatoes score, while the last one got 1%, this one managed to get a 0% on the tomato meter and an 8% audience score. It is also a reboot, or as it says in the title, it is a reborn. It is Jeepers Creepers Reborn, or Jeepers Creepers 4, voted on by Max and D3.
You
I
actually
have
didn't
not
vote
had
for
the
this.
pleasure.
No, no,
I
it was something
haven't
I
seen
had
it.
as an honorable mention.
It was actually aggravating me when I watched it
Well,
with
no,
Jacob.
I remember we watched the fourth one together, and we said it can't be worse than the third, and somehow it was.
Boy.
Early in the movie, these people are eventually just crammed in one building, and most of the movie just ends up taking place in this one building.
Wow.
So,
no.
like the special effects are among the worst you'll ever see. The Flash looks like it's grade A CGI compared to this,
Yeah,
and the
Flash looks
dialogue,
fantastic.
the dialogue was just terrible. Remember some of the stuff they were saying in the car, especially in that
Bro,
car
no, no.
ride.
I'm gonna watch this movie now.
It's like,
Dude,
it's
so
like a
bad.
haunted house type thing.
Yeah. Dude, you seriously, you gotta watch this. This is somehow worse than the third one.
It made no sense. Like the connection between any of these Jeepers Crew into the fourth one clearly does not make much sense to me at all.
And then at the end, they got real cute and thought they were going to get a sequel.
They'll make another one eventually.
Oh yeah, they loved it. Every
I
single
actually
like,
think you had to start from scratch. You just reboot the whole thing. Nothing from the other ones.
yeah. The first movie is good, but the only thing good about that, like, pretty much the main good thing about Jeepers Creepers, I do like the creature, the original creature design at least.
I was gonna say the one in this movie, I don't think was very good at all.
I mean, I genuinely like the first one.
Yeah, that's good. The second one's like okay. The bus one.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was terrible.
I've seen
Okay.
worse. Third one's awful, dude.
The creature design I wasn't a big fan of in this new one.
Yeah.
I know you said the third one's awful. Double it for this one.
Yeah, you can tell like the budget for this was like lower.
The worst thing is, remember when they were doing event screenings for this? People were coming out and saying it was good. Remember that? That's why we were
Yeah.
excited for it, because like people
Well,
said it was
it's-
good.
well, that's because they were getting paid.
I know.
There's this
But
one
the
point
0% amount
where
of
they're on
school.
top of the roof of this like church building or whatever, and they pick a weather vane, rip that off the roof, and their whole plan was they're gonna lure the creature out, and they're gonna perfectly chuck this weather vane, and it's gonna stab the creature through and impale him. And they did the calculations right because they got it through, but the angle was like just it was very CGI, just like diagonal line.
And let me tell you,
Really
Hawkeye
terrible.
couldn't have hit this shot better.
Yeah.
I think it was straight through the middle of the head too.
It was clean shot. If they ever made another one, I truly don't know if it can get worse than this. But
Yeah.
honestly, if they can make it worse than this, I would love to see it.
And I was confused a little bit because like, he was targeting a pregnant woman. When the other movies, he was targeting people based off their fear. If you were like scared of him, that's what got him off.
Probably it's a reboot. They don't have to follow the lore.
Yeah, they're rebooting it, so it's completely new.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna do, at least keep the same guidelines there. I mean, I'll give it credit for not having that pervert director, Victor Salva. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
for not having
I'm
one
glad he
director.
wasn't attached to it. But that's the only good thing I can say about that movie.
Yeah, that's my positive right there that he didn't direct it. I mean, if you want to waste an hour and a half of your life, like we have numerous times, watch this movie.
I don't say that too often.
But see, the thing is, though, this is not the enjoyable kind. You're not going to enjoy yourself. You're not going to look back on the memory of watching this movie in a positive way at all. Did they do the song in this movie? I can't remember, Jake.
I think there was a scene where they like did the tune, but I don't know if the
I don't
lyrics were
recall.
sung. I don't recall.
They couldn't afford the rights
Yeah.
to their own song.
Well, it grossed under $6 million, so it did not make its money back.
Well, yeah, I don't think the series can go any lower.
But as I said in one of the previous quotes, this franchise has gotten progressively worse each movie.
No, not progressive. It's taken. It was up here. Now it's going straight down. You don't want to buy in, people. This is a bad stock. The first one's 7.5, and then we're cratering to like a half a point here.